In this video, I address the introductions and outlining the solution sections for your final proposals. Introductions are really important. One of the things that some of you are feeling is that this proposal is somewhat redundant. That is, the sections tend to overlap. That is actually by design, because as you'll read in the textbook, that readers read different parts of the proposal in different ways. And so sometimes they'll read just the introduction, and if they, after reading the introduction, they know if they want to read the whole thing, or they read other parts. And so there is some redundancy here. But here I'm going to take you through the introductions and read a few very carefully and give you my thoughts. And the textbook chapter on introductions is excellent. So follow that advice as well. Okay. Here's one of your sample proposals in the course pack written by a student a couple of years ago in the summer class. Let's read the introduction. The purpose of this memo is to address the problem of decreased attendance at the NMSU Corbett Center Student Union during evening hours. As you are well aware, the recent policy change in our student government has decreased the number of events hosted on campus, especially within Corbett Center. This change has affected all manner of business within the building. In an effort to rejuvenate interest within the building, I propose that Corbett Center either purchase a movie performance license or possibly partner with the Associated Students of New Mexico State University on purchasing such a license as a possible solution to this problem. This is an excellent introduction. There's a couple of really good things going on. First of all, this introduction captures the whole problem and solution, the whole document, but it's very general. Secondly, that's the most important thing that an introduction has to do, is to capture the whole document, but in a very general way. The second thing this introduction does is it connects to the reader. As you are well aware, it shows the audience that the writer is aware of the reader. Now, one of the key differences between writing proposals and business documents versus the writing that many of you have done is you do not need the catchy lead-in or catchy phrase at the start of your document, whatever document it is, be it a proposal, a problem memo, etc. You just simply lay out the whatever section you are working with without the catchy lead-in. So this introduction does not have a catchy lead-in, and you do not need a catchy lead-in. Let's look at the introduction of the second sample proposal. This was, and as you'll notice at the memo heading, that's part of the introduction. That when the readers read that memo heading, they are aware of the topic because they'll read the to and from and the subject. Let's read this. The purpose of this memo is to inform of the ongoing problem with our cooling lines in the casting department. Process engineers make a process using cooling as a necessity to run the cast machines, and with the mind that the molds will receive the cooling designated for that particular wheel style. But our molds are not receiving the needed amount of cooling. Now, this sounds like the introduction to the problem memo, because as you see, it does not forecast the solution. I have asked all of you to back off the solution to this point, but at this point, writing the full proposal, you do need to highlight the solution. So this introduction lacks the solution section. It also lacks, and the first one lacks as well, a highlighting of what will happen, what follows next in the memo. It's always good to very briefly say, in this proposal, I first discuss the problem, set up criteria to discuss a solution, and propose the following solutions. Very briefly highlight what follows. Moving to our next sample proposal, and these actually were written in online summer class last year, the year before. Here you look at the memo heading. This is Academic Support Center Extended Hours and Weekends at NMSU. I think it's the Alamogordo branch or one of the branches. Here's the overview. I am writing this proposal to persuade you to continue with normal hours during the summer. Currently, the hours of the Academic Support Center for summer are decreased to where they are only open minimal hours from Monday through Thursday. After interviewing the students, half were interested in using the ASC during the afternoon and weekend hours. This has some good parts, but it suffers from a couple of problems. First of all, it doesn't highlight the whole proposal. We don't know what the solution is, what she's proposing. Secondly, she uses more concrete data here after interviewing the students. Half were interested in using the SC during the afternoon and weekend hours. If the reader reads this sentence here in the introduction, the reader's expecting that a great part of the proposal will be her discussion of the interviewing of the students. And that's data that she's using, but it's not the part of proposal. So every word you set up in the overview or introduction, the audience is expecting that to be developed fully in the document later on. And this does not happen. This is not the interviews are not a significant part of the document, although they are part of the data. So she needs to also highlight the solution that she's proposing, and I think this is a solution. Use the student center during afternoon and weekend hours, and then highlight what follows in the proposal. Okay, here's another proposal written in a summer online class, and it's to the study abroad people at NMSU, and it is a proposal to create a pre-departure orientation for NMSU students. So she actually has the solution right in the regarding or subject line, and that's fine. That's fine. Let's look at the introduction, and she doesn't have the heading introduction, and that's okay. Some people think that can be assumed. I think you probably need to put a heading here just to show that's the introduction, but it does not matter that heading. The other headings really matter. This proposal provides the staff at the New Mexico State University Office of Study Abroad with a plan for implementing pre-departure orientations for students during the summer, fall, and spring semesters. Wow, that's a great sentence. It explains exactly what the whole proposal is. It's not a catchy lead-in. It's just a very clear discussion of what happens. This plan will consider expand staffing and time slots, which work best for full-time students as well as those who are employed. A positive experience abroad would in turn increase word-of-mouth referrals from student to student, contributing to the growth and the success of OSA. Okay, although she has a really good first sentence, she does not discuss the problem. And the problem is that many of the students who study abroad aren't well prepared. So she needs to put one sentence or maybe two small sentences discussing the problem. Then she can talk about the solution, and the solution she does discuss. And then she might say, in this proposal I'll highlight the problem and then present the solution. Okay, here's another proposal done in a summer online class. This is Sitel Inc. Las Cruces parking lot, and the subject is a new footpath for extended parking lot. And here the writer has a heading, and then it has actually a really nice heading, or part of the heading concerns affecting schedule adherence. Sitel currently employs hundreds of people at the Las Cruces call center, and new employees are constantly being hired. This can most clearly be seen in the many rows of cars that line the extended parking lot, which spans over a mile away from the main building site. Many employees have complained that it takes too much time to walk along the current path from the parking lot to the business, and are reporting problems with the parking lot to be the main reason for tardiness and lack of consistent time cards. A viable solution to this problem would be to construct an alternative footpath which could go around the back of the buildings and would save time for the people parked on that half of the lot. In many ways, this is a really good introduction. It gives you the context. But it's a little bit too long because this sentence gives you some data that is too concrete for the proposal. So I would have taken it out, that sentence. And I don't know if this is even important for the introduction, because he does not talk about the constant hiring later on, but that's okay. Take that detail out because you don't develop it as much later. And then you have the problem. Many employees have complained that it takes too much time to walk. Then he talks about the solution. A very quick sentence in It says that this proposal discusses the problem and the solution. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's fine. For some of you that might feel redundant, but it does reiterate what happens in the document. Here's another proposal, Templo La Trinidad, and it's a proposal for construction of a new classroom building. Let's look at the introduction. And by the way, I will mention that you do not need colons after the headings there, because that's double or triple highlighting. The heading itself, it highlights it, so you don't need a colon after. In our church's efforts to win over new souls and minister the lives of others, one thing has been overlooked: the safety and accommodations of our students. It is imperative that we establish a new and safe environment for our students to be ministered to, which will benefit everyone involved for the reasons beyond those of the community. Now, I like this introduction. I would prefer a few more details. It's too general. The safety and accommodations of our students, I wish she would have said the safety and accommodations of our students in the current classroom situation. But it does give you the whole problem, and it does give you the solution: establish a new and safe environment. But that's probably not concrete enough, because the solution is to build a new classroom. So it should say it is imperative that we establish a new and safe environment by building a classroom for our students. So just add a little bit more here to give the whole proposal in a quick nutshell, so everyone can grasp what's going to happen in the proposal, and then the other parts of the proposal lays out the details. Going to another proposal, and this will be the final one. This is a proposal: technology department is overwhelmed with work orders. That subject line or regarding line could be a little bit better. It could say a proposal to alleviate the problems of work orders in the technology department, because the proposal is not about being overwhelmed. It's about being overwhelmed and how to solve that. But let's see. The purpose of this memo is to address the amount of work orders the technology department is receiving from the computer labs due to printers breaking down, but also the need of our district to upgrade our system with more cost-effective and efficient centralized printing configuration. Style needs some work there. The existing setup in our computer labs in the district is outdated and is expensive to maintain. This can be remedied by eliminating all the desktop printers and replacing it with a printer server. Despite some of the style errors, it's a great introduction. It grounds the context of what is going on. It talks about the problem, and it highlights the solution. So we've looked at a number of introductions, and I hope this gives you an idea of why the introduction is so important, because if you've read those introductions with me, you probably understood why some of them were good, why some of them were lacking, and I hope this video helps you understand how to write your own introduction well. Thank you.